All right. Welcome. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show. I am your host, Ira Bush. I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all very much. This is the 50th show. So, we've been pretty consistent on these last month and a half. We've been building on something great. I feel like it's gonna be great just continuing this even if it's in a bigger way in the future. I think we started off in a really good spot, giving out really good information and just being consistent on our message. And it's not about how many people I reach; it's about the message that I bring. It's a lot of noise going on in the back. There's something going on today, so it's a lot of children in the building out and about. But just I think okay, first and foremost, I'm just gonna say I'm thankful and I'm appreciative just to be alive and well and strong. And I gotta make sure I'm reminded of that not everybody is not able to wake up every morning feeling, good, just motivated and all that stuff like that. So that's one first and foremost. Now, that being said, I was gonna say something before I wanted to be thankful, but like I was saying, we've been consistent, and that's pretty much it. I would like to. Oh, the message is like I'm not really worried about how many people how many people are like getting the message now because I'm putting out some real stuff and it's a lot going on as far as the changing of guards, changing of the world. Um, and if one person that matters gets the message and related to a lot of people, that will be a positive for me. Not saying I don't want to capitalize off speaking about the truth and giving details and giving my opinion on things that is important that might help sway to the side of productivity, side of positive, side of strength, side of discipline, side of honor, and just that having a sense of pride about things that you do. I don't want to be on the opposite side of the things that I just mentioned. So that's the type of energy that I'm trying to bring into when I do these types of things. Now, now let's get right to it. The important thing. Yesterday, going right into the community. I'm very deeply. I've been deeply involved in community thing type activity. So, you know, yesterday I had a basketball game. Me and my nephew. I'm the coach. My nephew's on my basketball team, and we didn't play. The biggest thing is okay. We last week we had issues scoring. This week we didn't have that much. The type of game that I want to play is a little more old school mixed with new school because we shoot the ball. We don't really have ability to go get a basket at the rim yet. We haven't developed that part of the game yet because I only have them once a week practice time. And the thing I wanted to show them is like shoot the ball when you're open because you're playing against bigger people. Because most of my kids are 9 and 10, and we playing 11 and 12-year-olds for the most part. And we got to defend 11 to 12-year-olds, and we got to guard. We got to learn how to score against older people and bigger people. So this week, we went against a very athletic team. They wasn't big and strong, but they're very athletic. They was good at stealing the ball. Very active hands. I didn't get a lot of calls last night. It was a lot of traveling and double dribbling. So they call everything. My best shooter he ended up having, I think he had 10 points last night. And we ended up with 13. One of my point guard had 3 points. He had a 3-2. So I was proud of them as far as scoring and fighting back because we was down big. We was down like 9 points, and they came out third quarter. We had two big threes. Boom, boom. We were down four. So I'm like, now it's time to play defense. But unfortunately, one of my best rebounders and defenders wasn't there. It's holiday weekend. They had to go out of town, be with family. And her little brother is one of my better defenders as well. So he was the youngest on the team. Him and my nephew are the two youngest on the team, and I look at it like we probably was missing that little oomph of energy of like just tenacity, stealing the ball, rebounding the ball, and all that little small stuff that we could have probably won. But we got to play each team one more time before the playoff, the championship weekend. And I was like, well, the positive side, we were shorthanded. The positive side, we scored more points, and I know who's my top scorer on the team is. And he bounced back from last week. He started off a little shaky. He didn't make a lot of shots, but at the end of the game, second through fourth quarter, he hit. He went to the free throw line. He hit a couple threes, and I think we'll get a little bit more scoring towards the end of the year with everybody contributing like that. So, I wasn't mind. We lost. We ended up losing. I think it was 8 points. I think it was 8 points. I want to say eight. The game of scoring. Whatever it was, they scored a good amount of points. We did not play defensively well in the beginning of the game, and in spurts, like the third when we hit our run, they came back with 2 or 3 more baskets. So it kind of separated at the end. But I know it's because they're younger and they're a little bit more advanced. So I'm still proud of them. We still will have a chance in the championship week. I know we will have a chance by championship week to like really like give a run for our money because we probably gonna play that team in the first round. Because with the other team, they're not on our level yet. We could beat them in the game every game we play them. So that's pretty much how I look at that. That being said, we'll probably make the championship game, and if we beat that team, but I'm hoping. We gotta figure it out far as like just defensively. I wish we really need like one more like 12-year-old that's athletic. I think my 12-year-old, he came late to the game. I ain't dissing him now because all the kids are really good kids on my team, but he's just like his mind doesn't be locked in. Like when you got a person that just want to get better at sports and he's on the team, I think that's what he's there for. But he don't have that drive to be like, I'm gonna come in here and dominate. I need somebody like that with that experience. So, I'm missing that older leadership like role. Like I said, the girl Eileen, she's really good and she's not as advanced scoring, but she can score, but dribbling, she gotta put it together. She probably be ready by playoff. That's all I can say. And I'm still proud of my team. I think we're gonna be all right. We should win the next game, though. So it was very fun still. Like that little one moment when it came out and it was hot, it was close. I was proud of them at that point, but it was still tough. It's still tough. Basketball ain't easy, as far as the game of run. So, I felt it was very intense. And then, mind you, everybody on the other team, they got a lot of support system. It was kind of hype. It was a little lit. It was like a little mini middle school game. It was very lit, like how many people were there and supporting their kids, their child. So I appreciate that too. So it was pretty lit yesterday. I appreciate that a lot. Um, yeah, that was pretty much it. Other than that, it's like we ain't too much going. Well, fortunately, like I said, my godmother passed away last week. We're going to a service. I'm gonna get to see my god brothers and stuff. So it's gonna be actually a bittersweet moment. I haven't seen them in a long time, and it's gonna be good. To see them. Get them uplifting spirits. I'm not a crybaby as much as I don't really like ceremonies like that. Like funerals, and I don't know what kind of ceremony it's gonna be, but I'm celebrating. I told y'all my story last week. I don't really speak too much about in-house type of things like that. So it's gonna be really good to see them. Hopefully, I haven't seen, if it's in Sebring, if it's in that area, which I'm pretty sure it is. I do want to see my mother's um aunt, her great aunt, because I'm pretty sure that's a lot of energy toward that too. I want to get to see her dad's side if I could run into somebody over there because I'm very out of base with them. I didn't get to go to that. My daughter was able to go to the family reunion, but I wasn't able, and my sister them. hopefully some people from our relatives on that side I get to see as well. So, and then like I said, I lost my grandfather last summer as well. So I heard my mom's father. So it ain't been rough. It's like I'm not used to it, but I'm not, I'm not. I've been on the more of like speaking in light and ascending and living, living life, to the best of my ability. I'm not. No, the way I see it is like we live in a very weird type of country, and it's a lot of they play on a lot of spirits and energy that are powerful. So I'm not in the best. This is not the best country to live, being what they call a black man. So and they attack females and women that are strong and powerful, like my mom and my godmother. So all that stuff had to play with me not being dwelling on. I'm not definitely not happy. I talk all the time about why I'm not happy. So y'all know what it is. I'm not tap dancing for nobody. Like I said, I'm gonna get to see my brothers, my god brothers. They're very important people to me. I don't say much. I don't reach out. I don't even talk on the phones no more. I don't even like how the system is really. So it's a lot going on, a lot of change happening. You got a lot of dummies in office and in command, and we got to sit up here and listen to it. So that being said, we're gonna go right into politic talk. All that stuff coming up right now. They was, I don't even like the propaganda that comes out. Oh, we voted on the bill or we passed the bill. Ain't shit get passed yet. It's checks and balances still. Then I talked about yesterday when they talking about the Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz. It's some of the ignorant, stupidest stuff I've ever seen. That was a straw man story because they stopped reporting on that. That was the dumbest photo op I ever seen in the history of presidential history. That man shouldn't even be there. Now you need to go find the worst prisons that people getting abused, all kind of craziness that goes on in prison. Now you go do a tour with your little dummy, your little crash dummy governor of Florida. Y'all go do a tour of all 50 states of all the prisons that's being that's not being taken care of, that people are getting treated like worse than animals, and you make sure you go fix those before you go over here try to build some old cockamamie old construction of what I don't even know what it is. This is in Florida. This is in a 50. This is one of this is the Sunshine State. This is what they deemed it, the Sunshine State. This is a place where you come to like chill on the beach. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what they be celebrating, showing some stupid junk like that. I don't even know what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? First of all, the only thing we bordering is islands. This island is water. There's nothing surrounding us but water. And until you get you got to go to the corner, the up right on the corner of the Gulf. The next time you see you on the border of anything that's foreign country. You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna be in another state anyways by the time you get up there, if you ever been up there. Panama City, going past that, you borderline this JU in Georgia. Like what are these are the states. Then you're around water. And then the only thing you're gonna be enslaving is people out there on the water. Cuba, Puerto Rico, Haiti, Jamaica. Those are people you finna enslave. Like that don't even make sense. I'll feel threatened. That don't even make sense. So, and I know there's more islands out there. I'm just naming a lot of people that I've seen that's in Florida that is actually from those places. So it really ain't making no sense to what he's kind of doing. Where you gonna go capture everybody from those islands and put them in those tents, and then people who come from I don't know what I don't even know. Like I be looking at it in confusion still. So it's like it's not no it's not really no kind of like structure of what he's formulating. It doesn't matter. Like when you leave office, you can't get the office back. You already did one term. That term was horrible. I don't even know what you be talking about on Twitter. I don't even go on Twitter because if he in office, I know Twitter just reeks of dummy. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, yeah, I was gonna play some clips. I really don't feel like going into like clip. I really want to go break down. It's like okay on this. I broke down all those. It's not been no executive order so far in July, which it's only the third day of July, and it's a lot going on. You see there down. I'm gonna talk about that too, but I'm gonna just review some of the. It's a list. Yesterday it was 92 issues on the list in the whole federal system that they have to talk about. They have to like concerns. They have to adjust. People writing stuff down daily, and it's always some of these stuff got to get marked off as being completed, a task, a federal task that needs to be handled. So I'm gonna go on there. We're gonna pull it up, and it's on the same website that I got the we break down that. So I was gonna do it yesterday, but let me see. Okay, today we have, let's see, current issues. That's what's on the calendar. Say current issues. Yesterday it was 92. Today is 114. Now, some of this stuff is important, some of it's not. So let's see. It's like they got a stockpile. How you got that many issues? You over here talking about one thing for the last 3 weeks. Then you over here visiting new prisons that you call a facility for immigration, but it's a prison. And you ain't see all these issues on your desk, and you ain't even putting no effort into these things. You over here flying around trying to start wars. So it says Mid Atlantic Fishery Management Council. It's a public meeting. That's what issue. That's one of the issues. I'm just gonna read some of them off. So that's the stuff going on that not being talked about. That's what I'm just read them off. I ain't even gonna go into details. Withdrawal of notice of intent to prepare a draft environmental impact statement for Jackson Township 900 project in Sacramento County, California. This is advised federal, state, local government agencies, public court withdrawing notice to prepare environment. So I guess they stopping something over there, a project in Sacramento, California that has to do with the U.S. Army Corps. Prospective grant of exclusive patent license, the development of in vivo anti-CD19 COVID-19 chimeric antigen receptor for the treatment and prevention of B-cell medicated autoimmune diseases. This is the National Institute of Health, National Cancer Institute. This is the person that has this issue. They're trying to get, I don't know, they're trying to get something clear, trying to get it, they say the development of a vivo. So I guess it's like a shot. I don't know. I remember I ain't taking no shot for COVID-19. I ain't shake it then. Y'all already know how I feel. That's where it starts right here. That sounds very important right there. But COVID was a hoax anyways. You don't hear nobody talking about staying 6 feet away from nobody. Nobody got to take the COVID shot. None of that. You ain't even got to get checked no more to go across the country. That was a hoax because they just were trying to make money and kill people off that were not supposed to be alive. Now, National Institute of Environment Health Science Notice Meeting. This is the National Institute of Health. Government-owned inventions, availability and licensing. National Institute of Health. News Postal Products, Postal Regulatory Commission. New postal products. Now, the summary. The commission is noticing recent postal service filing commission consideration concerning negotiated service agreement. The notice informs the public of filing, invites public comment, it takes other administrative steps. Okay, I guess we got some issues, some new things going down for the post office. People be stealing mail for so long they forgot they was stealing it. Agencies, collections, activities, requesting comments, requests for Form 8918. Internal Revenue Service. They some frauds too. The accordance to Paperwork Reduction Act in 1995, the IRS inviting the comment of an information collection request outlined in this notice. The agency that collected, the agency that still. That's for sure. Agency information collection activities comment request form 7004 by Internal Revenue Services. Internal Revenue. In accordance to Paperwork Reduction Act in 1995, the IRS is inviting comments and information collecting requested outlined in this notice. They always complain. How you? These are the people that complain and steal at the same time. You're stealing information. You're stealing money. You're stealing ideas. Then you want to claim for yourself. Then you want to act like you all get. Somebody did it to you. Like these are the type of people that's weird. I don't. They need to erase them completely. Make them go sit in them tents. That's the people you need to go pick up. The interest rate paid on cash deposits and secure U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement's immigration bonds. Treasury Department. Interest rates paid on cash deposited to secure U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement's immigration bonds. Now, that sounds very interesting. For the beginning July 1st, 2025 and the ending September 30th, 2025, the U.S. Immigration and the Custom Enforcement immigration bond interest rates is 3% per annum. I don't know what that means. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. Federal law requires the interest payments on cash deposited and secure immigration bonds shall be at a rate determined by the Secretary of Treasury. Hey, who is our Secretary of Treasury? You gotta get that information now. I don't remember who it is. They put Rubio, huh? That's who it is? No, not Treasury, not Treasury. Secretary of State, I think. I don't know. Except the no case shall interest rate exceed 3% annum related federal regulation state interest on cash deposited to secure immigration bonds will be at the rate determined by the Secretary of Treasury, but in no case will exceed 3% per annum or be less than zero. They be talking code for real. I don't know what they talking about. I ain't reading no more because I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. Everybody know what I'm talking about. Put some information out there. Better do your research. Anybody who know about the money that they stealing, that they talk about, they claim that they finna interest rate, the bonds and all that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta know more information. I ain't finna act like I know. So let me go back. They talking about 3% on bird, blah blah blah. Where is my income tax check? That's what I'm be trying to look at, man. I want my money. I know I be being petty when it comes out to it. I do have personal things that I do not like about the government. These people allow some of the worst thieves and worst criminals in the history to be associated with the U.S. United States government. They allow I'm telling you, and I ain't being funny. I'm talking about not people that look like me, because I know y'all want to throw that on us all the time. That's what it was designed on when they started propaganda, when they started news. They wanted to put the blackface in front of all the evil stuff that the whiteface did. So that that's why they killed Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And then they tried to embarrass Rosa Parks. They tried to how I go. You know the history. They ended up actually getting their story told, but it was more than one person that got dead like that. It was thousands, millions. At this point, it's millions. Now, interest rate paid, deposit, custom enforcements. I think we just read that one. Guidance and Federal Criminal Enforcement Treasury Department. Now we're gonna just leave them alone. Potential criminal enforcement guidance and referral. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being funny. This is 114 things found. So I think it's the number has increased. 22 more items increased. So these things need to get situated and handled. They not been situated and handled. We over here tap dancing over here. We all trying to gather around one little system of stop the big bill. But it is a big deal. But I'm just saying, like, these issues still here. So they didn't get, no, don't let that, all of them, Republican and Democrats might seem like they're not together, but they definitely together. They might not want to be together, but they definitely on the same team. You know what I'm saying? They definitely trying to fight for TV time. They're trying to fight for, getting their next for promotion. You know what I'm saying? So however it comes out, whoever's on their side that promotes them to the next position, that's why they fighting the opposite. So, at the end of the day, they work for us anyway. They supposed to have been out there at the government. You know what I'm saying? Everybody will rush down there now, but they supposed to be out there anyways. They supposed to be out there. What we see? What school in session? What 180 days minimum. They don't be out there 180 days. They ain't even taking it serious enough for me. So, how I look at it, I've been on point with all that. So they don't even be out there. They be at their home state. They don't be at the Capitol doing their job. They want to come out here for a photo op. They ain't no better than the president. And I'm dissing everybody because I already feel like I'm gonna have to get in the field about this politics. I don't even like none of the system. I do not agree with none of the Constitution. I'm not one third of a person. I actually don't have to be considered one third of a person because my people paid to get us known as natives, that be known as African descendant people already. I'm already known for that. When they got the big B on there saying I'm black, so they're gonna try to treat me like one third of a person. They're gonna try to insult my intelligence, and that shit not gonna happen because I gotta get older. I gotta make sure my child get older. I gotta make sure I'm well taken care of overall. And my mom gonna have to go retire soon because she worked hard. She been working 50 years. She been on the field since she was 5. So we ain't finna allow that. It ain't gonna be too much longer. She gonna be having to work any kind of job. Cause I'm finna go ahead, stump on all these weirdos that's out there trying to say like they doing something. Not dissing the people that out there really doing something. But I'm just saying that's really what is gonna happen. Now, so I'm gonna leave that. Y'all go check some of that stuff out. Since they all rush down there to the Capitol, now we the people, go online and search what actually is going on. That they put all this information out here that we need to check into in the states. Do your job in the states. The state of Florida, I don't know. You see, our issue is they want to enslave people that's walking around working. You know what I'm saying? Like they literally got a facility now to just pick you up and take your ass over there. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me confused with none of them because if I go there, I want everybody that support me. I want you to go burn that whole place down. I don't even want you to think with me in it. Make sure I'm burnt down with the place if they put me there. I ain't even playing with. I don't even like how they even made that some kind of celebration yesterday. That shit was crazy. But yeah, we ain't gonna talk about more, man. We're more politics, man. I really ain't gonna make this a long show, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about some basketball. Let me see. The teams today. Oh yeah, the Lakers. Okay. The Lakers. We just added. Well, I'm saying we. The Lakers. They had the person that they drafted. Well, they acquired their 36 overall, and they got Adu Diora. I liked that pick. I like that pick. We needed a wing defender. I think he's gonna have to fight for some minutes with Roy. I think they play similar styles from the film I watched. We got Dalton Connect last year in the first round. We just signed DeAndre Ayton, which I definitely knew we needed a center. There's talk that they're gonna get Brooke Lopez. Was it Brooke Lopez? No, Al Horford, not Brook Lopez. I think he signed already, but on Al Horford, and I think those two veterans. Eight is still pretty young. Al Horford is probably going down to the stretch of it in his career, but he's a very good locker room person, very tough, very strong, will help with just the discipline and the focusedness of winning the championship for the whole throughout the whole year. And, I think that's gonna help with the younger players we have. Luka's on the team, LeBron's still there. It's from the roster I'm looking at it. You got Austin Reeves who stepped up into a nice role as a starter. It could easily be an all-star if he continues the trajectory he's on, being a solid starter and a solid and being in Los Angeles. You could easily be an all-star if you average 20 to 25 points, 7 to 10 rebounds. That's a solid input for your team. Make the playoffs consistently. I don't think he's the superstar ability of the athleticism that we see in the league, but he's definitely a nice shooter. And he plays well enough defense to stay in the league for sure and stay on the court. I think what they still got Bronny James. It's his second year. I think you're gonna see a lot of improvement for him. I want to see what he does in the summer league. I don't see them having unless he pans out to be, I think I'm looking at the roster. It looks like they let him go. Gonna let him. Besides Austin Reeves running point, I think they're gonna let him get some playing time, point guard. I think he actually does a good job playing that position. I think if he comes in the mindset of a playmaker, and I think he'll still easily get 15 to 20 points if he turns that extra gear in his second year and he gets that 20 to 30-minute playing time. If he steps into that role this year, I think he'll be okay. And I don't see nobody. Gabe Vincent, I don't see him having the same athletic ability as Bronny James. The explosiveness, I don't see that. I think Gabe Vincent can shoot now, and he's he's really a professional because he plays defense on the perimeter as well as anybody in the league. But Luka is a liability to me. I think we're gonna have Luka play point guard, but he's really small forward, shooting guard. You got LeBron play it. So I don't know. I'm looking at all those types of things. Don't connect. I don't know. I'm not that high on him. I wasn't that high on him. He didn't stay healthy towards it. He got hurt in the middle of the beginning of the year and stayed hurt. So and they tried to trade him last year. So he definitely could still be a trade asset in this year's deadline. So I don't know. I'm looking at the roster. So I'm big. I'm still a Lakers fan. I started a Lakers fan. I got to end a Lakers fan. I ain't played in the league. I ain't even coached basketball long enough to me to even try to switch teams. I'm gonna stay on my team that I started with. Kind of, I'll definitely support home team. I'm a Magic 76ers. Then Heat. I watched plenty of Heat games, so I ain't really a Heat fan, but I respect the league. I respect that team because I've been in this area for a long time. So and everybody else, is whoever's hot. I pay attention. Indiana's pretty solid. I definitely respect that team a lot. I probably put them over the Heat. If I watch some games back in the days, I watched a lot of those games. Indiana, the Rockets. I watched a lot of their games. I'm a big T Mac fan, Iverson fan. Curry, Joel Embiid. I respect Tyrese Maxey a lot. I like how he play. Just stuff like that. Minnesota Timberwolves. I watched a lot of their games back in the days. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's go to another team. Who we gonna see? Who are we going to break down? Did we talk about the Washington Wizards? No, I don't think we talked about them yet. Let's see what the Washington Wizards did. The Washington Wizards. Well, they had a lot of picks. No, I did talk about them last. Did I talk about them last? I got to do the research on the draft picks. I'm not going to talk about them. They had a lot of draft picks. I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. I don't be having a clue about the players. So, you know, I'm honest enough to tell you that it be on there. This that is 6'5" and these. I'm tell you straight up. Like I watched the little clips of them. This is what I see. This how it looks. This what fit. This fit here. This might could fit here. This is what I seen from the league and the teams from the league last year. Include this person and that person. And you still got veterans that these guys might not see the court till the second or third year. All that stuff like that. So you know, let's see what Chicago did. What they got? Yeah, they ain't got too many draft picks, so I ain't got to mention too much on that. Conlon Oblerich, that's the draft pick they got from the Lakers. And they still they tried and they got Noah Asagu. Those are two picks that they got. Now their roster, they traded Lonzo Ball. This team gonna be probably at the bottom of the league. It's looking at their roster. Um, I don't know. I'm looking at it. I forgot who they traded from for Alonzo. I think they occur. So it's not even they got Kobe White still probably gonna start at point. You know, is Zach Levine on it? Was they traded Zach Levine last year, didn't it? Okay. Yeah, they got Kevin Herter. Okay, he's pretty nice piece, but you know, they don't really have nobody. Nicole Volcevic. I don't know. I don't know. The Chicago Bulls need a lot of help. What they lacking is a real stretch, like that 3 man that everybody got. That's that potential superstar defender, 3-point shooter, slasher. I don't see them having a that guy that pops off at they could pop off for 30 plus 12 rebounds. I don't see that on their rosters. And then they lacking depth at big man. They don't really have a true center to protect the rim. They just traded away their best perimeter defender, Alonzo. I think they got somebody back with a similar. I guess a Kerr could be a guy that's like 3 and a 2. So and he's pretty good defensively. He can shoot the three, he can score, he could pop off a little bit, but I don't see him as an all-star or superstar. So yeah, I just got to see more from these younger guys that I don't know their name, don't know them fully by just watching them. I've seen them pop off or flash on the screen type of deal. So no, I think the Chicago Bulls definitely need a lot of help. So we're gonna wait to see on them. What else, man? I ain't gonna talk too much. That's it for NBA. I don't know. I'm finna see did the Rays win last night. They got a little slide. Let's see, check the score from yesterday. They play. They don't have a game today. Let's see. Hopefully they finish strong. Yeah, the Rays won yesterday. They had a little skit against it. It was a tough series against the Athletics. They lost 2 out of 3. But we bounced back yesterday. Got a win, very close win at that. So, Yankees lost. That's good. Blue Jays handled their job. Red Sox lost. So we gained the whole game yesterday. I think we probably won a game and a half back. A game or a game and a half back, depending on how many the Rays actually won. They lost twice. They lost as many as we did. So, we both were Rays and the Yankees went 1-2 last series. So we gained a whole game. And I mean, we'll have game back in the AL East. So that's pretty good. Solid for the Rays. That's my home team. The Marlins, I'm sorry I can't report on y'all. Y'all not that good. So, ain't no diss to Miami Marlins, which I am in South Florida right now. And I've been to a few of y'all games. So, ain't no diss. The teams with tradition are in they've been winning a lot. So it's gonna be a very exciting playoffs. It's gonna be a very exciting stretch in the fall for baseball. So, it's gonna be good. It's good baseball, good pitching, nice hitting. It's not excessive because I know they had a little funny balls. They out there shooting 70, 80 home runs and stuff. So back to like 50 and 60. You got to be talented. You actually got to be talented to hit home runs now. The ballparks are built better, So yeah. Now, um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Baseball. Far as entertainment, other entertainment, y'all see. I would report on the Diddy story. He got off with a lot of with the racketeering, the whole whole big old kingpin type of deal. They was trying to get him. Mind you, he's literally an AR slash. He started off more as an AR, so he's been recruiting talent his whole time as a person in the music business. So that was his original. Besides him doing a little backup dancing, I don't think that was a very short lived stint. He hosted parties, and then he went doing AR. So it was about hand in hand what he was doing. Probably didn't get noticed for the stuff that he did before he got his bag. Then y'all see when he did in the '90s when he got his big group, which was Junior Mafia, with Biggie and Lil Kim, and then they was very strong in the '90s. So then Biggie got killed. Lil Kim definitely got tried by the industry. He still had the locks. You got Jada Kiss, all them boys was under there. I look at it like it's very disrespectful. Art is very important in our as a black man or as a Native American, Native descendant, African descendant person. They're very disrespectful with trying people who are artists, who have real artistic the ties to artistry. Like this is disrespectful at an all time high because it's very important to motivate. You know what I'm saying? So he's done a lot of motivating. Let me first and foremost, I'm not agreeing with no lifestyle he did. I did not pay attention to none of that stuff on the trial. All I could tell y'all about the music that he put out, the people that he put in front of y'all, these are some of the most talented people that ever walked this earth. So I'm like, he's one of the people that are, I laugh. I roasted Diddy before about hearing him rap, and I've done it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't stop him for what he actually contributed. That's like borderline, like that's like denial. You're senile. Y'all just named all the people you put in front of us. So I was laughing about that aspect of it. And and then and mind you, all the collaborations. Like I'm a big Young Jeezy fan. They brought a whole group out just to put him in a position to not go. You see what he was speaking on. So I'm like, he really had to go in that group so he would not go to prison type of deal. Like, everybody in that group, none of them went to prison. That's like, you talking from a street level, like that was like some of the funniest stuff. Not funny, it's funny now because they all made it out. But some of them were mad because they get as famous as Jeezy did. But what I'm saying? Like, they had people from Ohio, Georgia. Who else was in the group? Like, what I'm saying? It was like, come on now, like you bringing the whole Midwest and South together. Basically, that's what happened in that group. So it was he contributed a lot, man. You can't really deny that. You can't deny that at all. I'm not talking about you don't have to go to the parties. You can just stay in the booth and do your job. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm looking at it like that. So and then he got a whole bunch of children. So that's you got boys, you got men and women. That's your child, your children. Like that man never, especially definitely been exaggerating. He was not the only one indulging in those type of parties. He probably was just throwing them at the end of the day. And then he did get in trouble for abuse. He's still gonna get in trouble for that. That's a misdemeanor in most states, even though it was very vulgar and they had a dispute. These usually not felonies. They trying to make it sound like he's going to get 40 years for nothing. That was a dispute that happened 10, 15 years ago, 10, 15 years. I don't even know what time frame. This person has a whole family and is married to somebody that's gay and and white. So they just went out of him for money. And, I don't even know what that is. That was obvious. That was a whole government ploy stint. That didn't backfired on everybody. They don't wasted so much federal money on that. And that man really definitely worth $1 billion in musically. Like he really is the owner of these people's music. Like he could give it back, he could take it back, he could sue them, he can put their music up for his bond, whatever they want to claim. He already did it. He already went in. So I'm just giving y'all a spiel on this. I have not watched the day of this trial or jury or whatever they came out. I'm looking at it like, wow, this is probably the only, it's like 2 or 3 people like him, that like they put that much stuff out, saying he wasn't selfish at all about helping people. So I don't know what they want from him. It's when it comes down to it, the way he probably was arrogant in a time frame it definitely could be arrogant after you have all them kids, all them children. So the arrogance probably was a little bit, the aroma of arrogancy was definitely reaping. So they had to try to put him in his place and do the Bill Cosby little act, and probably was a little bit premature because they did Bill Cosby like that when he was old. He was like, I ain't fighting y'all. I do this. I'm sitting in jail. I'm sitting over here. But then it was like, I ain't taking no plea deals. So it was like, I'm not even. I can honestly tell y'all, I've never spoken in a public manner. My people that have been around me when I talk music, I can honestly say I'm very neutral on P Diddy. I'm not saying this in a way of like celebrating this person. Like I'm literally very neutral. But I do enjoy a lot of the people that he brought out music. Like I honestly respect a lot of the people that he brought out. I just mentioned them. So it's like I'm neutral. He did a lot for the game. So like these some of my favorite artists. Like so I'm looking at it like that. So I can't hate it on him. And he might not, you might not think he did enough, but he definitely put money in these people's pockets. He definitely made sure when they did get in trouble, he definitely had to, go without them saying it. He probably definitely helped a lot of them. So now let's move on. That's it for in my entertainment today. Y'all know y'all know how I'm really passionate about music, but I don't even want to talk about that. They still so bad in the music game. I got people that really can rap. Like I'm talking about a whole group. Talking about drop crazy amount of music, don't get no notoriety that they deserve, and we in the big one of the biggest states in the world, in the country, in our country. So I don't even like how that whole thing went. So people out here being these little boxes and like thinking that their music is the best. I don't know. You're old. We're the new. We still dropping new. But no, real talk, man. Shout out to everybody, man. For the end of the day, man, this is one of the chill shows. Y'all seen the title of the show, man. We just I ain't even I put a lot of game out today. I really did. I really broke down to you. It's like I said, go check it out yourself. And yeah, hopefully they get all this situated. I don't really want to talk about the big bill or whatever they call that stupid junk. All that's turning into a straw man story. They even talk about the Iran Israel stuff that they talking about. They talking about putting the bill on his desk by Friday. They gonna extend it. They over there done started some junk. They ain't even trying to close up and gap up. I don't even want to talk about it no more. But yeah, that's it for today. This is Dynasty, the podcast show. I'm your host, Ira Bush. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all. We're not gonna have a show tomorrow. We're gonna have a show Saturday. So 4th of July weekend. Shout out to my big cousin. She's one of the greatest people I ever met. She put me on a lot of games when I was little. Shout out to her. My little cousin's her birthday today as well. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Hopefully we might be coming through. We might not. We definitely gonna get a little bit of movement. Have a little movement by tomorrow and Saturday. So I see y'all hopefully, or definitely celebrate y'all for sure. So yeah, that's it. Y'all have a good one. See y'all Saturday. No, Saturday I might miss my show too. So if I'm not here Saturday, I'll be at Monday.